Hello and welcome to the latest in the official podcast of the Worcester Bulls of the American Premier Hockey League. Here on Spotify.
Hello again, and welcome to lucky episode 13 of Shooting the Bull, the official podcast of the Worcester Bulls, the American Premier Hockey League. I'm Keith Kokinda, and I hope I didn't mess it up by bringing in the commentator's curse by saying that. Anyway, thank you for joining us here once again on Spotify. All previous episodes are available here on Spotify, as well as our YouTube channel at Worcester Bulls Hockey. And also you can go back and watch all the previous home games from this season on demand on our YouTube channel as well. Ben Nick is taking care of all the technical aspects. Bulls goaltender Jack Hudec joining us tonight. Jack, we were talking the last episode with Will Holden and Remington Reynolds about goaltending. You know as well as anybody how important it is in terms of the playoffs. The playoffs coming up next weekend. You'll be going up to Buffalo, take on the Tempest on Saturday and Sunday, March 14th and 15th up at the Hyde Park Ice Pavilion in Niagara Falls. But from a goalie's perspective, what's the key as far as how the team plays in front of you is concerned?
Yeah, so just the teams just block. It's playoff time, so everything's on the line at this point of the season. When we went through the regular season, and we played really good defensively in front of me, like blocking shots, getting sticks in lanes, but it doubled down now. It doubled downs now because it's playoff time. Every game matters at this point of the season from here until the end of the playoffs when someone's, hopefully us, is raising the Governor's Cup. So just continue the same thing we've been doing the last couple months: block shots, stay sticks and lanes, and really just keep them to the outside. Because if you keep them to the outside, I'm gonna stop it no matter what.
Yeah, both you and Luke Bell would be in the top 10 in save precision league if either of you had played enough minutes. But you've mostly evenly divided the time. Ben Holden's gotten a couple of wins this season as well. But in terms of sharing that time, do you think it has been a benefit to either of you going into the playoffs, knowing maybe you're a little bit fresher because you've both been able to play so well?
Yeah, I think it's good. It also has its pros and cons. Obviously, everyone wants to play every single game, but I'm the biggest cheerleader for Luke when he's in net, or when Rob was in net. I'm the biggest cheerleader for him when he was here. But I do think it helps a little bit especially since we played both the Buffalo and the Buffalo home and home, or the Buffalo games, and then we played Thousand Islands where I played that one, and then it goes right into the playoffs now. So I'm fresh, I'm ready to go, and I know both of us, both me and Luke, would be ready to go for playoff time. But it definitely does help and gives us a little bit of a break, because goaltending is such a difficult position to be in, mentally, physically, on the body. And you always sometimes need that mental break as well as the physical break, and just backing up and being the guy's biggest cheerleader for Belsey when he's in that.
Yeah, I said Ben Holden, for fellow play-by-play announcer. I had a little bigger, higher level. It's Rob Holden, who plays for the Worcester Bulls. You mentioned about the mental aspect of goaltending, and as a former football/soccer goalkeeper myself, I know how important that mental aspect is. What would you say is your biggest mental key for you, especially knowing that neither one of you are really a solid first choice going into the playoffs?
Yeah, recently, at the start of the year, I played good at the start of the year. I struggled for those two games that I gave up 7 against West Mich, and then I forgot, and then the Iron City game where we fortunately won that game, even though I gave up 7. But those two games really made me I struggled those games, and everyone can tell I was not there. So then I had a week off, and then I was able to really mentally reset and get into the swing of things. And since then I feel I've been lights out. I use the 5-minute breaks I split the games into like 5-minute segments. So win the first 5 minutes to get to 15 minutes, win the next 5 minutes to get to 10 minutes. And then if we're at home, we have that media timeout. So get to that media timeout, win that. And then same thing goes for the next 3 periods, win each 5 minutes. And like, that's really helped settle my mind down instead of just thinking like, oh, like how much time do we have left? Like I just got to focus on 5 minutes at a time. I won that 5 minutes, just reset 0-0 score, no matter what the score is, and just continue on throughout the game. And that's really made a huge difference. And like I always have like the mantra of like one shot, one save. Like I probably repeat that probably 1,000 times or hundreds of times throughout the game. It's just one shot, one save, and give up a goal. It's the same mentality the next shot, one save.
Yeah, that one shot, one save sounds like a lot of college football coaches you hear, or Bill Belichick these days saying, we went 1-0 this weekend. That's what they say is most important. Interesting aspect you mentioned about dividing the game into segments, because I remember Oral Hershiser, the former Los Angeles Dodgers and Cleveland Indians pitcher, he liked to do that too. He would divide the game into thirds for similar reasons, especially when it came to changing patterns. Obviously the goaltenders union is very strong, and have you ever where did this idea come from? Did somebody else suggest it to you? Have you ever heard other goaltenders talk about making the game more segmented for you?
Yeah, so like I have like the podcast that like I do of just like interviewing like hockey players and like athletes in general, and like I've learned from like guys have also told me stuff about that, like just break it into segments and have a little game with yourself. And like after that bad stretch of games that I had, I really went into it, and like I was looking for something to like, because like it was the Buffalo series when we took them 3-2 in overtime, when we lost 3-2 in overtime, like, and that was like I was like, I have to get back to that Jack, and I was trying to figure that out, and then those 2 games happened, and then I obviously didn't perform as good as I should have, so I was like, I have to get back to that Jack. And then I heard that, and I was like curious with that, so I tried it with, I believe it was the Buffalo game again at home, where we won 5-2, and like I broke it down every 5 minutes, and it really kept me engaged with the play and just with the game, because like 20 minutes it's a long time when you're facing a lot of shots, and then like you're thinking about like just getting the buzzer. But if you put the 5-minute segment into your game, like that's what you're focused on, making sure it's 0-0 or 1-0 your team after that. And then if you win, it's like 1-0 me. And then you go another 5 minutes without giving up goal, 2-0 me. And then you just have like a little game with yourself, which is like a little competitive game inside of yourself.
I wish I had known that attitude when I was still playing as a goalkeeper myself. You've talked about Buffalo a couple of times because they played the 4 games, gotten 3 points on them, the overtime loss you mentioned, and then the 4 win at home a couple of weeks ago. Does that make you feel more comfortable going into this matchup, knowing you've got some recent familiarity with them, and the fact that even the 2 losses, the 2 regulation losses you had, you only lost by 3, even though they were high-scoring games? You feel like you have a little bit of an edge because of that going into this series?
Oh, for sure. Like I know their top players. I know what they like to do. I know their systems. I know their power play. Like, and like I go back, and you can ask like my family or my girlfriend. Like, you go on her YouTube channel, and it's just our games, and I like just go over like the games, go over the saves I made, the goals I gave up, and really like try to get like the systems down. And I definitely have Buffalo system down, and I know where guys are going to be and stuff like that. And it really makes me more confident going into the playoffs. Like, I know it's a new season, like regular season doesn't matter at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, like I'm familiar with what they're doing, and I know that I've had success against them, so I can just be myself and like go up another notch, because I know there's another notch or 2 that I can go that no one's seen before.
Now, you talk about the familiarity and knowing how Buffalo plays and how their systems work. You're also, as the goaltender, you're kind of the traffic cop back there, directing your defensemen and helping them out. Does that help? How much does that help you knowing their system, knowing what to expect in terms of directing them, and also as far as them knowing the system as well?
Yeah, it's huge because we played them four times already this year. Like all of us are pretty familiar with what they do and know what they're bringing. So like it's very very easy to just be like, oh, like they're gonna try and make that extra pass to the top of the top of the slot, like make sure a guy's there because the guy's gonna sneak in, like whatever that may be. Like not saying that's their system or anything, but whatever like that may be, like I know what their next play is, their next step, and we just got to be a step ahead of them at their own game.
Yeah, one thing that's really to me improved a lot, and you've talked about it already early on, is the defensive cohesiveness. You said not having. You've made a lot of saves, but not as many shots are getting through as there could be. What's been the big key for the team to develop that cohesiveness, especially starting out, because you were a new team, as you mentioned? There were a couple of struggles early on.
Yeah, I definitely think I know the guys practice I practice and skate on my own with like the group that I skate with down here. Like I know what they have practices and they're all all together and everything. And like we have like a Snapchat group chat that we're all in, that like we really just like have a good time with each other and just like text each other back and forth. And it really like builds that cohesiveness, and like you can tell like we're all there for each other. Like one guy gets jumped, like we're all going into battle, like, or if someone like, or like a big hit happens and it's not the cleanest play, like we're going to protect our guys, and no matter who it is from top to bottom, we'll protect our teammates.
This is the Shooting the Bull podcast, episode 13, official podcast of the Worcester Bulls. Bulls goaltender Jack Hudec with us. Ben Ickes running all the technical aspects. I'm Keith Kokinda. Remember to follow us on Instagram at Worcester Bulls Hockey. You'll be able to find both Jack, his aforementioned girlfriend, of course, and me and Ben there as well. So you can follow us as we go into the playoffs. Speaking of your girlfriend, she's been part of a terrific fan base that's shown a lot of spirit and
everyone knows about her.
Yeah, and she's got she's a little bit like Dave Leonardi used to be with the Philadelphia Flyers. You remember the Flyers back in the 80s and 90s, he had the signs behind the opposing team's goal for 2 of the 3 periods. And even though we're not getting a home game, at least in this first series, talk to us about what the fan support has been like for you and how much it's helped the team, especially early on when things weren't going very well.
Yeah, the fan support is huge. Like we come in the rink and we know we're gonna have a good fan base, whether that's home or we have a good fan base on the road. Like this past weekend, we had a great fan base in Thousand Islands, which was huge. And I'm pretty sure like all the cheering was for us whenever we scored, and whenever the Thousand Islands came out, I don't think anyone cheered. It was all Worcester Bulls fans when we were there. But like just having that support and knowing that the fans are going to show out for us every single game, like really helps us like push even more. And like we're pushing for each other, we're pushing for the fans, we're pushing for the organization, for the management, for the staff. Like the list goes on, and we're super pumped to be playing in front of those fans, and really like appreciate them for everything they do, and especially for those that come to the games and go on the road trips as well. Like it's a blast.
Yeah, I heard a burst of noise every time you guys scored watching that game up at Thousand Island last weekend, a game you won pretty comfortably. Now you've got this weekend off. We've talked about with some of the other players on the show about the schedule, how the scheduling has been rather erratic due to factors beyond the team's controls and even the league's control as far as the weather is concerned. I asked you about the freshness. So do you feel like the team being more fresh, having not played as heavy a schedule as expected, is going to help you going into a back-to-back series like this with a really tough team?
Yeah, I think so for sure, because all the teams that are playing back-to-backs now, they're gonna be tired, they're gonna be beat up, but we're gonna be fresh, and we're gonna be able to give 100% every shift, every time someone steps on the ice, giving it what everyone has, because we're well rested, and we're not beat up like a lot of these teams are with injuries and everything now.
Yeah, it was, for the most part, guys have been pretty healthy this season. Haven't had anything major other than what we saw with Nathan Shootin in the preseason. Fortunately, he was able to recover from that. Becoming a goaltender, there's a lot of different avenues that get followed. Unlike, football/soccer, it's usually somebody who's playing up front but can't score any goals, and so they decide to try the reverse psychology and put him in as a goalkeeper. What was your route to being a goaltender, and did you ever play as a skater before becoming one?
Yeah, so that's an even crazier story. So I started skating when I was 3, and then I learned to play when I was 4 to 5, and then I was a forward at this time. Like, I played like house hockey throughout my time playing forward. Like, I played forward from when I was first learning to play, so like 3 or 4 years old, until I was 18. I played 2 years of spring high school hockey, like spring seasons, as a forward. I was a captain for that team, and then so I played house league, and then I played 2 seasons of high school hockey for the spring league for my high school team, and then I made the switch to goaltender full time after my senior year, so probably my 18, 19-year-old year. And it was just like I went to a goalie camp, and that's where I met my goalie coach now, who's the goalie coach for the Chicago Wolves in the American League. So I do a lot of skating with them when I'm back home in Illinois, and I've met, and then I go through the summers skating with my goalie coach Stan, and then he has like a bunch of like American League guys, coast guys, that SP guys, Fed guys that skate, and I have like 3 different groups in Chicago when I'm back home, and then I went to Fed free agent camps from there, from when I was 21, 22, I would say, and then jumped into the Fed and with Watertown during the 22-23 season. I was there for a year and a half, and then I had a couple of emergency backup goalie stints in the Fed with Mississippi and Baton Rouge last year, and then I spent the last 6 weeks, a month and a half with the Dashers last year in the Fed, and then I started in Columbus as a coach this past year, and then went back to Worcester after I resigned from coaching because I wanted to play again, and my heart's with playing. And then like the last like 2 weeks, I've been practicing with the Sentinels again in Columbus there during the week, and going back to games in Worcester, and hopefully winning a championship here soon.
Yeah, I remember when you came to free agent camp, you were there, but then you said you were going to be leaving a coach. I thought that was kind of disappointing because, a guy of your experience with a team that's for the most part younger, I thought would be a big asset. And then, of course, you ended up coming back. Do you think your experience puts players in front of you at ease, knowing that you're not still learning the game, that you've been at higher levels?
Yeah, I think so. Like you can tell like when I play, like guys are more calm and they're confident too, and they can make that extra. The defenseman can jump into plays if they want to, because they know I could back him up, and I could really steal a save if needed to be. And Belzy can too. Like any of our goalies, Rob, when he was here, he could do the same thing. Like, we have a good core goalies that I think it really helps with the experience, especially like because I was in the Fed as well. That definitely helps, and I know what it takes to get to that level, and I've been at that level for the last 3 years, so I've definitely gained that experience and can show the younger guys, younger goalies as well, what it's like to be a pro and really get to that next level that they want to be at.
The one thing that I find interesting with the fact that you and Luke Bell have divided much of the playing time is you got yourself, a conventional left-handed catcher, and Luke Bell, who catch with the right hand. Now, a lot of players will say it doesn't make any difference, but sometimes it feels a little forced, if I to pardon the phrase there from them. The fact that you guys sometimes will play in these back-to-back series, one plays one game, one plays the other. Do you think that does anything to the psyche of another team, especially speaking from your perspective as having played forward as a minor player?
Yeah, I think so, because I think everyone's like, oh, like I can go with this one on this one, and then the next day Luke plays and he's a full right, and that the other hand is his best hand, so he's able to stop those shots easily. And I actually forgot that Belsey was full right, and I broke one of my sticks last week before, like I think it was Friday before the game, and I needed a new stick. And I was like, just bring your backup. Like if I need a backup, if it breaks, like I'll just flip it, or like I'll play with your stick on just the opposite hand. And like we just got a good laugh out of it. But that would have been pretty interesting to see if that did happen. But I did buy a new stick, so I did have a backup for that game.
Yeah, I know enough about goalie equipment to know that they're not interchangeable for left-handed or right-handed catchers. So that much I am aware of. So yeah, looking forward to a weekend off this weekend. But Buffalo will be playing Saturday night, their final home game of the regular season. Then Friday, March 14th, 7 p.m. face-off at the Hyde Park Ice Pavilion in Niagara Falls. The Worcester Bulls game 1 against the Buffalo Tempest. The team, the Tempest that I mentioned, they won 3 of the 4, but one of them was an overtime win, so the Bulls did get a point out of that in Niagara Falls back on December 28th and December 29th, the 9-6 loss to the Tempest before coming back and getting a split with them in January at Alice Noble Ice Arena. So this should be an entertaining series. Again, game 1 Saturday night 7. Game 2 will be Sunday afternoon. Check out the Buffalo Tempest YouTube channel to watch it live. Bulls fans, I'm sure a number of you are going to make the trip north and east up I-71 and I-90 to get up to the Niagara region and watch the game. Be looking forward to that. Wish I could go with you guys, believe me. And Jack, we were talking about podcasts. You mentioned the one you have a little earlier in this show. So we'll give you a chance to do a little free promotion for your own podcast, how to find it and where to connect with you for that.
Yeah, so it's On the Spot Sports. It's available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And the Instagram handles at _spot_sports. So On the Spot Sports, but underscores between each word. And yeah, just interview athletes, primarily hockey, but I've done baseball, I've done basketball, I've done football, I've done soccer athletes, I've done a lot of different sports, and just trying to get people's stories out there. Everyone's stories are different, so it's cool to learn and just let guys and girls' stories get heard, and just the adversity they face, like how they got to where they are today. And like Keith, you're going to be coming on soon too. So
yeah, once we get the we've had a little schedule meshing issues for both of us. So yeah, I know we do have that in the works. So I'm definitely looking forward to returning the favor for you as you've done here for us tonight.
Perfect. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and like I love doing it. I've been doing it since 2018, so going on 7-8 years now. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it definitely is. This has been a lot of fun too. All you guys on the team, especially, have made it a whole lot easier and a lot more fun to be able to do this. So yeah, On the Spot Sports. They're also on Instagram. Jack Hudec's running his own podcast, and as I said, check them out on Instagram. Eventually, I'll be there, and I'm definitely looking forward to that episode as well as the one we've done here tonight. Ben Ickes, again, thank you very much for all your help getting all the technical aspects going. Jack Hudec, Worcester Bulls goaltender, our guest tonight. I'm Keith Kokinda. Again, remember, follow us on Instagram at Worcester Bulls Hockey. Also the same handle for our YouTube channel. And let's look up Worcester Bulls Hockey on Spotify for all the episodes of the Shooting the Bull podcast. Thanks again, Jack, for joining us and giving us a little insight into the mind of a goaltender. It's not always something that's understood by a lot of fans because it is such a different position compared to being a skater, but we appreciate what you've been able to share with us. Again, I'm Keith Kokinda. Thanks again for listening. We'll catch you next time here on Spotify and our YouTube channel for Shooting the Bull, the official podcast of the Worcester Bulls.